They didn't hide it. They didn't classify it. They didn't deny it existed. They released it, quietly, formally, without explanation, no press conference, no headlines, no urgent warnings, just a document added to a public archive, and almost no one noticed. The file appeared on an ordinary weekday. No breaking news, no alerts, no public reaction. It was technically available to everyone, but being public does not mean being seen. Inside the file were details that had been requested for years. Not opinions, not speculation. Records, internal memos, official summaries, information that answered questions people had stopped asking. And when it finally arrived, nothing happened. This isn't rare. In fact, it's one of the most effective ways information disappears, not by hiding it, but by releasing it quietly. The document didn't contain a dramatic confession. There was no single shocking sentence, no obvious villain. Instead, it showed something far more unsettling: routine decisions, standard procedures, normal approvals. Everything looked ordinary, which made it easy to ignore. People imagine secrecy as locked rooms and stamped folders, but modern secrecy works differently. Information is released, but without context, without explanation, without urgency, and without a story, attention fades. The file raised questions. Why was this decision made? Who approved it? What alternatives were considered? The answers were there, but they were buried in neutral language, hidden in footnotes, scattered across hundreds of pages. You had to work to understand it. Most people didn't. A few journalists noticed it. A handful of experts commented. Short articles appeared, then disappeared. The news cycle moved on. Another crisis, another controversy, another distraction. And the file stayed exactly where it was. Public, accessible, ignored. This isn't accidental. Institutions understand attention. They understand timing. They know outrage fades. They know curiosity requires effort. They know most people don't read original documents. So releasing information becomes a strategy, not accountability, not transparency, just the appearance of it. The file didn't change anything immediately. No laws were reversed. No officials resigned. No investigations followed, which led many to assume it wasn't important. But importance isn't measured by reaction, it's measured by consequence. Years later, researchers would return to the document, not as a discovery, but as a warning, because the information had been there all along, waiting. This raises an uncomfortable question. If something can be public, documented, and accessible, and still be ignored, what else have we already been shown? The issue isn't that people don't care. It's that caring requires clarity, and clarity is rarely offered. Instead, information is released in fragments, without narrative, without emphasis, left for the audience to assemble. Most don't. So the file remains, still online, still readable, still untouched, not hidden, just forgotten. And that may be the most effective form of control. Not secrecy, but timing. Because when something is released after the moment has passed, when attention has moved elsewhere, when urgency is gone, it no longer feels like a revelation. It feels like history. This file wasn't ignored because it was insignificant. It was ignored because it arrived quietly. And in a world driven by noise, quiet truths rarely survive. This wasn't about hiding information. It was about letting it disappear in plain sight. And the question isn't why no one reacted then. It's whether we would react differently if it happened again. Because next time, the file won't be hidden either. It will just be released. and quietly ignored.